Hello, this is the fifth part of the living world, class 11th, only for pronunciation. And sorry for background noise if you hear. Diversity in living world. If you look around, you will see a large variety of living organisms, be it potted plants, insects, birds, your pets, or other animals and plants. There are several organisms that you cannot see with your naked eyes, but they all around you. If you were to increase the area that you make observation in the range and variety of organisms that you see would increase. Obviously, if you were to visit a dense forest, you would probably see a much greater number and kinds of living organisms in it. Is different kinds of plants, animals, or organisms that you see represent a species. The number of species that are known as described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. This refers to the biodiversity or the number. This refers to biodiversity or the number and types of organisms present on Earth. We should remember here that as we explore new areas, even old ones, new organisms are continuously being identified. As stated earlier, there are millions of plants and animals in the world. We know the plants and animals in our own area by their local names. These local names would vary from place to place, even within a country. Probably you would recognize the confusion that would be created if you did not find ways and means to take to each other to refer to the organism we are talking about. Hence, there is needed to standardize the naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. The process is called nomenclature. Obviously, sorry, nomenclature are Obviously, nomenclature of naming is the only possible when organism is described correctly and we know what sorry and we know to what organism the name is attached to. This is identification. In order to study faculties faculties, the study number of scientists have stabilized produced to assign as scientific name to each known organism. This is accepted to biologists all over the world. For plants, scientific names are based on agreed principles and criteria which are provided in International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. You may ask, how are animals named? Animals taxonomists have evolved an international code of zoological nomenclature. The scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name. Describe of any organism should enable the people in any part of the world to arrive the same name. They also ensure that such a name has not been used for any other known organism. Biologists follow universally accepted principle to provide scientific names to no organism. Each name has two components, the genera names and the specific epithet. This system of providing a name which two components is called binomial nomenclature. This naming system given by Carolus Linnaeus is being practiced by biologists all over the world. This naming system using a word format was found. I repeat this line. This naming system using a two-word format was found. Covenant for was found covenant. Let us take the example and mango to understand the way of providing scientific names better. The scientific names of mango is written as Magnifera indica. Let us see how is a binomial name. In this name, Magnifera represents the genus, while indica is a particular species or a specific epithet. Other universal rules of nomenclature are as follows. Biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. They all sorry, they are Latinized and all derived from Latin irrespective of their origin. Number two, the first word is the first word in a biological name represents the genus while the sentence components denotes the specific epithet. Both the words in a biological name when handwritten are separately underlined or printed in italics to identify their Latin origin. The first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter, while the specific epithet starts with a small letter. It can be illustrated with the example of Magnifera indica. Name the author appears after the scientific epithet at the end of the biological name and is written in a abbreviated for Magnifera indica lin. It indicates that the species was first derived from Linnaeus. Since it is nearly impossible to study all living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make this possible. This process is classification. This process is classification. Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into covenant categories based on some easily observable characters. For example, we easily recognize groups such as plant or animals and dogs, cats, etc. The moment we use any these terms, we associate certain certain character with the organism in that groups. What image do you see when you think a dog? Obviously, each one of us we will see dogs. No, not cats. Now if we were to think of elastians, we know what we are talking about. Similarly, suppose we were sorry we were to say mammals, you would of course think of animals with external ears and bodies air. Likewise, in plants, if we try to talk if we try to talk of wheat, the picture in each of our minds will be of wheat plants, not for rice or any other plants. Hence, all dogs, cats, mammals, wheat, rice, plants, animals, etc. are covenant categories we use to study organisms. The scientific term for these categories is taxa. Here you must recognize that taxa can indicate categories at a different level. Plants also from a taxa, which is also a taxa. Similar Animals, mammals, dog are all taxa, but you know that a dogs is a mammal and mammals are animals. Therefore, animals, mammals, and dog represent taxa at a different level. Hence, based on characteristics, all living organisms can classified into different taxa. This process of classification is taxonomy. Internal and internal and external and internal structure along with the structure of cell development process and ecological information of organism are sta- uh, sorry essential and form the basis of modern taxonomic studies. Hence, characteristic identification, classification, and nomenclature are the process that are the basic to taxonomy. Taxonomy is not something new. Humans being have always been interested interested in knowing more and more about the various kinds of organism, particularly reference when reference to their own use in early days. Human beings needed to find source for their basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. Hence, the earliest classification were based on the uses of various organisms. Human beings were since long not only interested in knowing more about different kinds of organisms and their diverse sites, but also relationship among them. This branch of studies was uh, referred to as systematic. This word systematic is derived from Latin word systema, which means systematic arrangement of organism. Linnaeus used Systema of Nature as the title of his publication. The scope of systematic was later enlarged of enlarged to include identification. Nomenclature and classification. Systematic takes into account evolutionary relationship between organisms. So video is so long, and then next topic I will discuss in next chapter, taxonomic characteries category sorry